Welcome to the Minutemen Pod with your hosts, Max and John. Today's date is March 15th, 2025. And we have the first live in-person pod of the two co-hosts together.
Happy to be here. Happy to be together. Going to recap an exciting offseason and looking forward to getting into it.
An exciting offseason, which had
a lot of change.
After an abysmal regular season.
Yep.
Abysmal regular season. But a lot of change. And the first change that I guess we'll discuss is the head coaching change.
Yep.
Out with the old.
In with the brand new. Couple hours after that devastating win in Week 18, Gerard really screwed us. In came Vrabel. He was the favorite all along. There was some smoke about Ben Johnson. Don't think that was ever realistic.
No.
I think Vrabel was always the guy. They needed some sort of continuity. They needed a leader of men, which we knew Gerard simply could not talk to other human beings and lead them, and that led us to Vrabel.
Yeah, it was Vrabel's job to turn down, and he took it. He knew he wanted this job even after the last offseason. I think that's probably why the reason he didn't take any job, because he wanted to see if the Patriots job would become available, see if the Crafts came to their senses. So new coach, pretty much a whole new coaching staff, a couple old faces. Around.
Josh McDaniels is back. We'll get to him. He's got a lot of weight on those shoulders right now.
A lot of weight on his shoulders right now. But Josh McDaniels come back. Vrabel brings back some familiar faces from his Titan days with himself.
Yep, Terrell Williams, DC.
Terrell Williams,
Cowden, assistant
GM. Elliott Wolf, I would say, is probably the biggest name to stay around. A lot of scrutiny.
Yep.
Especially from the pod itself on Elliott Wolf and his decisions last year.
We're not.
But, I mean, it's definitely an exciting time to see what this staff can do.
I really like some of the staff they've put together. Again, I feel like they went out with they went non-traditional compared to what Bill used to do, right? All of Bill's friends got hired. Again, they hired from the coaching ranks. They hired some of McDaniels' assistants, some of Terrell Williams' assistants, some of Vrabel's assistants, right? So I think that's going to set them up for future success and have some sort of structure in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Vrabel, you can already tell, even through the free agent acquisitions, that people, respect him throughout the league. The Patriots are already being discussed as a team, which, I mean, we haven't made too many roster moves that were drastic.
The needle.
Yeah, but they're already being discussed as a team, by TV personalities. Like, they have a chance to make it as a wild card team.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
all that is Vrabel coaching buzz.
Exactly. We'll talk more about the AFC East, who's improved, who's not improved. But Rodgers out, Justin Fields, which we absolutely love to see Justin Fields twice a year. Tua, again, you can't count on him, and that leaves us in the Bills. I think we could compete for a wild card. That might be a little ambitious in year one of Vrabel, but I think we're much improved with who we've added, right? We've really built out the trenches in the last 2 weeks, and really excited that's where they start. It's where they should have started.
Yeah, and then we can kind of go into the free agency and all the moves that they made, especially day one. I mean, that was great to see. I mean, especially from last year when we had all the cap last year, and they didn't do
pathetic.
They didn't do anything.
Their best signing.
No, they did nothing with
it. Pathetic. Their best signing last year, Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
And Hooper was a good tight end too.
It was good. We re-signed him. He's part of
a good tight end too. He just can't be your prize consolation in free agency. That just can't happen.
No.
But from a free agency acquisition standpoint, absolutely love it. Starting out with the absolute number one free agent, number 2 to 3 free agent on the market, Milton Williams, Super Bowl champion.
Milton
Very
Williams.
Risky contract, if we're being honest here.
Oh, it's the highest paid contract in New England Patriot history.
Yep.
26 annual value a year. But we can afford to overpay him, so figured why not give the guy a chance.
Yep.
So, it's going to be exciting to see if he can actually play like he did 50% of the time last year. If he can do that when he's playing 80% of the snaps this year.
Yeah, he played 50% of the snaps last year, but he had one of the highest defensive tackle, PFF or whatever those ratings are. So, again, if he can play 80, 85% of the snaps, excited to see what he can do. But
Yeah.
He's got to hold up physically, and we'll see if that's possible in year one.
Yep. The other additions we brought in pretty much all defense day one, which it was all defense, which is great.
Which is great. We'll get to the offense in a minute. Harold Landry. He's getting older, coming off an ACL 2 years ago. He wasn't the same last year. Did have 8.5 sacks. I don't know how accurate that sack percentage is. But you get Harold Landry on one edge. You got Baltimore. You got Milton Williams. You got Keon White. That's a pretty damn good front four. Very improved, if we're being honest here. Moving back, Robert Spillane. Love it.
Yeah, which was a great signing for us. Spillane, undrafted.
Yep.
Undrafted guy into Tennessee. For able to draft in Tennessee. Made rosters, played Pittsburgh, Tennessee, makes a name for himself out in Las Vegas, becomes a captain, becomes a 100 tackle a year guy, like just an all-out leader on the field, which is what you want. Bringing a guy that's been a captain on another team is phenomenal. All the other teammates have nothing great to say. 3-year, $37.5 million.
Little overpay as we had to do, but
he's going to be a guy though that's going to make it totally worth it.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see Spillane on the outside or in the inside with Bentley.
Get those 4 guys rushing. You get Bentley, Spillane, who's more of a coverage guy, a little more athletic than Bentley, who's more of that thumper early down role. But really excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, and then also on the defensive side, we brought in Carlton Davis.
My favorite acquisition
to be opposite of Christian Gonzalez. Carlton Davis just physical cornerback.
Love it.
He's going to be able to go up against every team's number 2, and it's gonna make hard time to be thrown on the outside against us.
And he's exactly what you need. Thinking back to those prime Patriot years, not prime, but towards the later half of Brady's last couple of years, you had the technician in Gilmore. You got the ball hawk in J.C. Jackson. I think that's pretty complimentary for Gonzo, Carlton Davis. So, again, really excited about the secondary. Again, Duggar, Pepper's coming back. They'll be healthy. Really looking forward to seeing this entire defense.
Yeah, and then some other players to mention. Marcus Epps, we get a free safety, a true free safety, which is definitely something we've been lacking.
Ever since McCourty left.
Yeah, ever since McCourty, because, we have Peppers and Duggar who have played okay, and you just really hope that their games can improve this next season. Marte Mampu, who I think he's still trying to figure out where he lands in defensive schemes. But Epps is another guy who was a captain on the Las Vegas Raiders team.
But the guys you just named off, that's a pretty deep secondary.
Yeah.
You might want to get another young corner. You get Alex Austin, but you get another corner.
Alex Austin brought him back as well.
That defense can match up against just about anybody.
Also brought him back.
Yep.
So we retained some people, and then departures on defense. Devin
Godshaw gone. He whined and bitched his way out of New England. See you, buddy.
He wanted out.
Yep, that's fine.
That's when in New Orleans eating that gumbo. Dietrich Wise and Jonathan Jones, 2 guys that could end up in the Patriot Hall of Fame. Potentially.
John Jones. I don't know about Wise.
Yeah, I don't know about Wise either, but Super Bowl champions.
If we can't win, I want John Jones and D Wise to get one more. They were great.
Patriots. John Jones,
great Patriots.
Yeah, sad to see John Jones go, but obviously it seemed like there's just no spot for him on the defense, especially after the Carlton Davis acquisition.
Yeah, he's getting up there. It makes sense for him to go to a contender at this point of his career.
Yeah, but the defense, the starting defense is really good. It's one of those things where you hope they can stay healthy. You really need that draft class of Keon White, Marte Mampu guys. You need them to become starters.
This is the year.
It's the year for them. Keon White started off hot this past season, then totally fell off.
There's only so much he can do.
Yeah, but he was non-existent.
No bar
with no help. Yeah, it's tough. But this year, he should take a big jump, into a starting role for himself.
Yeah.
Same with Marte Mampu. He's going to see some playing time.
Mampu's got to figure it out.
He's going to play.
He's either going to be cut next year, or he's going to be probably. I don't know.
But it's good to see we have a pass rush because Christian Gonzalez, no pass rush last year, was unbelievable. So what he can do now, if we're putting pressure on a quarterback,
just with 4,
woo,
2 safeties over the top, you got Gonzo Davis.
Coin term, the silent assassin.
The silent assassin. By the way, we came up with that nickname.
Yes.
Now it's finally going around.
Yeah. All right. Well, defense, as I said, I think.
How would you grade the defense?
Defensive acquisitions, I would say we didn't really miss on the people we went after from what I know. So I would give it an A.
Oof. Okay.
Obviously, we're going to overpay for any player, So I'm just putting myself in the perspective of the front office. Like, I would give themselves a pat on the back. I feel like every player that they truly wanted on defense, they were able to acquire.
Yeah.
I feel like on offense is obviously where we missed everything. Defense, I thought went great, though. You're going to overpay for everyone. So I don't even look at the numbers. I just look on who we were able to bring in the door.
You're going to overpay for guys. I get it. But, I get you need to change the culture. You need to add guys on defense. I'm going to give it a B+. Obviously, you had to overpay, like Max has said, but shelling out $17 a year to herald the injuries, it's pretty absurd. But, again, you need to do it. You need to change the culture. You need to get an edge in there. I get it. Pretty crazy. That's why I'm going to give that a B+. But overall, very good start for everyone.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
If you want people to play here, you should have to overpay for them.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. But it's okay. Cap goes up. Everyone's making money.
Yeah, I get it.
We still have a ton of cap left, and all that matters is we have to retain a couple guys, as the years go on and draft well. That leads us to the offense, where frankly we haven't really done much. We brought in veteran
Morgan Moses, who does not finish any sort of football season. The guy is always hurt.
Yeah, always hurt, but is a veteran right tackle who hopefully we get half a season out of him. Good starts.
Give us 13.
Yeah.
And then Caden Wallace, the second-year tackle, can sub in for him. But
right now, no, we have no offensive line. The departure of for surefire Patriot Hall of Famer David Andrews,
just all-time Patriot again. Losing him and John Jones, really tough.
Yeah,
really tough for those true Patriot fans. I do think it was time. I think I would have probably rid him out, told the training camp, is he still capable of being an every down center in the NFL? I don't know. I would have liked to see if he was able to.
Yeah, it's the other thing, too, to a point, is do you let him, to all those guys, do you keep them on the roster to play in training camp just to realize that they're not going to get a starting spot? And then it's do you want, they obviously still going to want to play because they went through camp and everything like that. They're not going to want to play just to sit on the bench, so they're going to be asked to release, and then it's so I think it's good. They just cut ties with pretty much all of the, that era of Patriots. They cut ties with all of them and, moving on and just kind of refreshing. I think it's good for them, good for us. Obviously, you don't want to see him go.
You don't want to see him go, but if I'm Elliot Wolf, I keep him around, again, for leadership purposes. And 2, he's played in a Josh McDaniels offense. Just for, teaching the young guys. Cole Strange's not going to know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah. It goes to the other point is, we've done nothing on the offensive line other than we brought in what's his name,
Schwetzberger. He's a career backup, interior backup. Played Falcons, I believe, Jets.
Career backup at this point though. He's the best guard on our roster.
No.
Besides, throw him inside. Yeah, I mean, no help on the offensive line. So if they want Drake May to have some sort of success, they really need to address that.
And left tackle, left tackle and a wide receiver 1, clear gaping holes, which leads us to our next conversation. Again, we can go back to left tackle. The receiver position, Elliot Wolf, absolutely pathetic trying to address the receiver position.
Yes.
Absolutely pathetic. I get, I DK Metcalf paying him $30 million a year, probably not ideal.
Yeah.
You need to pay somebody.
Yeah,
you need to trade for DK. You need to trade maybe trade a third and a fifth for IU. Great. Take on that contract. He's coming off an ACL. Not great. You need a difference maker. You don't have that. I don't understand.
Yeah, they needed to bring some sort of. I mean, obviously, the only thing that's available is going to be right now at this point, you're going to get someone on the young side of 30, and you're going to have to overpay for them. Which is a necessary evil right now because you're going to have to overpay for them, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, that's an overpay." But I feel like we're even scared to do that. But I feel like it's so obvious you just need to bring someone. We bring in Matt Collins, 2-year, $8 million deal. Whatever. It's Matt Collins. He's a culture guy, I guess.
He's a culture guy. Yeah, he's a little. Yeah,
he's played. He's done good in a McDaniels offense.
Yeah,
Vegas
had pretty good that year.
So maybe Josh McDaniels knows this guy understands my offense.
Yeah,
I'll bring him in because if we're drafting a receiver this year, I need someone who knows my offense as a receiver.
Yeah.
To help teach the guys in the receiver room. So I'm not mad about Matt Collins, but
he's a good culture guy.
And I was upset to see he was the first receiver we brought in.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think
he's
that's
got to be the second,
Yeah.
the third receiver.
I think that's what people were mad about. It's like, okay, Matt Collins, but then it's been crickets. Like, we haven't heard any whispers of them really. They were in on Cooper Kupp until it was too expensive. Like, obviously it's going to be too expensive. But I don't think Kupp ever wanted to come here, so I'm not too mad about that.
No, and I'm pulling up a list of the free agent receivers left. Like, this is really the issue here, right? You can look to bring in Amari Cooper, who'll play the outside, which is what we need. We need an outside receiver. He didn't do anything last year with Josh. He didn't really do anything the last 2 years. One with Josh Allen, D-Hop gone, Deontay Johnson not even a consideration. He's just an absolute liability in the locker room. Like, Darius Slayton back to the Giants, like, you needed to bring one of those guys in my opinion, just for continuity purposes and Drake May's development. I'm not sure where the confusion is with Elliott Wolf and trying to address the receiver position.
Yeah, it is kind of mind-boggling. We're going to see if they try to make some answers to the draft again this year, where they take multiple receivers.
Just shooting.
But it's the same thing. It's tough to have, the number 4 pick in the draft with the 2 biggest needs on your position, are both players that you could grab at that position. So I guess in a sense it's a good problem to have, but it's not a good problem when you really need answers at both of those positions. You can solve one with 1 pick, but you got to get it right.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get that pick right.
You have to. And I guess that'll lead us into draft talk.
Yeah, it will lead us into draft talk. But one more thing in free agency, the biggest thing that this team has been preaching to the front office and coaching, that they were saying going into free agency, is we want to fill every hole in free agency.
Which is the way to do it.
Which is the way to do it. Yeah, which is why going into the draft, you can just pick best player available and not worry about position. And I'm fearing that when they missed out on Godwin, they said,
let's tackle that Godwin for a minute.
Yeah, we're going to overpay $20 million. We're going to make him the highest paid receiver in football. I think it would have been well worth it, even if we got 2 years out of the guy. But he obviously didn't want to come play here. So,
yeah, we wouldn't be having this conversation if Chris Godwin is a Patriot. He also doesn't address the fact that we need an outside receiver. Drake May needs an outside receiver. Go trade a second for T. Higgins and hand him a lifelong extension, whatever.
Yeah.
You do that, again, Ayuk, you need to do that. But more importantly, I think in today's NFL, you need to draft and develop these receivers.
Yeah.
You just simply can't go out and try and...
No receivers in their second contract have hit free agency. You're seeing guys that are hitting free agency because they're being released, like, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, like all these guys.
They're over 30.
They already they got their second contracts with the teams that they played on, and those teams got 8 great years out of all of them.
Yeah.
Now they're over 30. They're getting that third contract, which is lower value, which all these teams that are wide receiver needy are just overpaying to bring them on. But to your point, like, you're going to have to draft or trade for a wide receiver in their prime, and once you do trade for them, you give them a contract extension.
Yeah.
But it's really tough bringing in a superstar wide receiver because those guys just don't hit free agency. They just don't. It's the same thing with left tackles. A good left tackle isn't going to hit free agency. A team's going to re-sign him, or a team will trade for him.
Yep.
We saw it with Ronnie Stanley. We saw
Larry Tunsil doesn't hit free agency. They traded him.
He's been traded twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
teams know. There must be an underlying issue there, but that's beside the fact.
Teams know, though, like, those are positions, like, you're going to either have to draft or you overpay in a trade for them, which is okay, because if you really need it, like, you go get it. Yeah. I just have to think. I think that the Patriots, Elliott Wolf at least, is having a hard time understanding that issue right now. I really thought they were going to be able to get a receiver or a left tackle in free agency, but it's just you see it every year.
And that's my biggest concern here. The 3 most important positions outside the quarterback right now in the NFL, most valuable, an edge rusher, a left tackle, and a receiver. We don't have any 3. We don't have any of those top tier elite talent. They've got a bunch of 3s and 4s at receiver. We don't even have a left tackle. Verdarian Lowe.
Verdarian
Lowe. And then the edge rusher. We don't have a clear one. We have a bunch of, again, supporting role player edge rushers, situational edge rushers. That's not going to get it done.
You need someone who has a chance to be an all-pro or second-team all-pro. We have guys that are fighting for Pro Bowls.
Fighting.
Like not
You're
like
not-
they don't have a chance.
So
So you know what I mean? Like we just need some guys that might even like. There's a lot of teams in the league that obviously don't have good positions, but like in one of those spots,
which goes back to identifying talent. They haven't been able to identify. Again, going back to Bill Belichick, hasn't been able to identify talent the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's had a hard time.
And then when Elliott's been involved, the last two drafts, some of the worst drafts we've ever seen outside of Drake May.
Yeah, outside of Drake May and
Joe Milton.
Joe Milton. So
Trade that guy for a third rounder, please.
And maybe Elliott Wolf is just good at drafting quarterbacks, so maybe we just draft quarterbacks and then try to trade them.
Yeah, honestly.
So that would be good. All right, now into the draft now. Just kind of knowing that we haven't addressed receiver, knowing we haven't addressed
left tackle,
and knowing that obviously we need a game record on defense. We sit at 4 with a really unique scenario ahead of us.
One of the worst positions.
The 3
to be
teams ahead of us truly all need quarterbacks. None of them,
depending on how free agency folds. But
depending on how it folds. But I think regardless of how it folds, it's shaping up right now like one of those 3 teams are going to get Russell Wilson. And my guess is whatever team gets Russell Wilson does not draft a quarterback.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't think any of these teams want to draft any of the quarterbacks.
I don't think they want to draft any of the quarterbacks.
I think the Titans might take Cam Ward. He's probably got the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
But still, I don't want to put all my eggs at 1-1 in Cam Ward, who's bounced around colleges the last couple of years. Dog at Miami, dog wherever it was before. But, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to do that.
That's the predicament is none of the 3 teams are sold on picking a quarterback because I'll tell you this, if they were, the Titans wouldn't be picking number 1. If Cleveland needed a quarterback, they would trade up to 1.
Yeah.
If the Giants knew that Cam Ward was the guy, they trade up to 1. It's the same thing we saw with the Panthers. The Panthers were picking at 6.
Yeah.
They knew they needed a quarterback. They loved Bryce Young. They made the call. They traded up. They got Bryce Young. That's what you do when you know you have the guy. Even like when Jared Goff was drafted by the Rams. Like the Rams were picking 2. They wanted Jared Goff. They didn't want Wentz. They traded up. They got 1. You know, that's just what you do when you know it's the guy. So I guess we still have time, and time will tell if one of these teams like loves Cam Ward or loves Shedeur, for God's sakes.
Nobody loves Shedeur.
That's what will happen.
Nobody loves Shedeur.
That's what's going to happen. So I think if Cam Ward goes 1, it's either to the Titans. I think if Cam Ward gets drafted in the top 4, it's out 1.
It's out 1.
Yeah. I don't think a team will wait to see what.
I think he's going to go. He's going to go 1-1 regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he goes 1 regardless. But of the teams that are going to trade up, I think it's the top 3. Yeah. Like I don't see any other team outside the top 3 trading up into the top 3 ticket.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
I think every other team in the league's quarterback situation is.
I don't know.
I mean, something not maybe not
the
stable.
Saints, the Raiders, even though they got Geno, I could see him doing that. Like the Seahawks, you never know. I don't think they do that after shelling out the contract to Donald, but you never know.
No, there's no way any team trades up like that. I could see a team. If someone slips, I could see a team taking a quarterback.
Yeah, they're not.
But no one with a quarterback right now is trading up in to get Cam Ward at 1 because if you have a quarterback on your roster, like even Derek Carr, like I think Kellen Moore rides with Derek Carr for 1 year. Because then it's one of those things like, oh, the guy's on the
sucks. It's not my fault.
And then he's not my quarterback.
Yeah.
Then after that, kind of also buys the coach another year. Because if they suck, you can just be like, whoa, that's a quarterback issue.
My concern is when or if Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter are both gone. What do you do?
Yeah, you're stuck with the situation of, okay, now the hand is dealt of Will Campbell, the guy at Missouri, the left tackle at Missouri,
or
Kelvin Banks.
At Texas,
There's good, what I hear in this draft is there's good tackle depth, but none of them are the guy. There's no Joe Oltz.
No,
you have
exactly.
You have no Joe Oltz.
Yeah.
You have no Joe Oltz. So I hear that it's like a really deep tackle class, but you don't have. They're not
going to be all pros.
You do not have the guy.
Average, to above average tackles, which is not what you need.
And it's kind of what I'm hearing out of almost every position in this draft besides receiver.
In DN, defensive line.
Yeah, defensive line. No, not the edge rushers, but the middle guys.
Yeah. Oh, the interior.
Yeah, I heard I think interior because you have like Mason Graham,
Mason Graham.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even.
Besides,
Oh, there's a couple Michigan guys. Other Michigan, Kenneth Grant, a couple of Walter Nolan from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But we're just in an awful spot right now. Really.
Receiver, there are a lot of guys that I feel like this could be a draft where.
If Travis Hunter's gone, you trade back to 5, 6, or 7, and you take Tet McMillan. You do it. You need to.
I know.
I think. Guess what? I think it's risky as hell, but you got to do it.
I think trading back is risky, and it's one of those things where I would rather just take him at 4 and cut my losses.
No.
If we really like him, I think you just take him. Unless a team like the Jaguars wants to move up and they're like, hey, we want this player at 4. And then it's like, okay, and you just move back 1 or something like that. But I think jumping teams is going to be too risky because he's too good of a player. He's going to go in the top 8.
Yeah.
Like Roman Dunze went 8 last year. Neighbors went 5.
Yeah, Neighbors a dog.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Ted is not like that.
He could be.
It's not. He
could be.
He's a big body guy. He's not around.
I think people saw receivers last year, like guys like Brian Thomas Jr. who get picked at like 16 or whatever, and they saw like, oh my God, he might be the best receiver in that class.
Yeah.
Over Marv who goes at 3. You know what I mean? And they're like, maybe we shouldn't wait because other teams might just start picking these receivers earlier on. If you need a receiver,
I agree.
you're going to go.
Because there's so many. Because you need to draft and develop receivers. I think these 4 receivers, Golden, Tet, Hunter, Luther Burden, they're all going to go a lot earlier than people think. I believe there's just so many receivers such an important position today that I think teams are going to start reaching earlier rather than later.
Yeah. Okay. I think the best case scenario for the Patriots is that Shedeur and Cam Ward go in the top 3.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
I don't see Shedeur going in the top 3, but yes, that is the best case scenario.
Yeah. Because if they don't, Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter will go, and then we're stuck with an impossible decision of we have to draft for need. And which position do we need more?
You need a lot.
Left tackle or wide receiver?
See, I think you trade back and you just, again, take defense and you punt the offense until next offseason. As bad as that sounds.
Yeah, the only thing is, a sophomore year for a quarterback is so important. We saw... you
struggled.
You will ruin quarterbacks by not supporting them in their sophomore year.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will totally ruin quarterbacks. Drakes is good enough to make plays with his legs, as we saw last year. He can improvise, and
I do think McDaniels will really, really help with just schematic plays, play design, structure, even just mental. I think it'll be really helpful.
Yeah. So mock scenario: Cam Ward goes 1, Travis Hunter goes 2, Abdul Carter goes 3. Who's your pick at 4?
Can I trade back?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trading out. I don't give a shit. I would trade out of this first round and just accumulate picks for next year. I'm not taking any of these guys.
Realistically, you'd do that? So you'd probably just get fired then. You're okay with that?
No.
That's all right. I would prefer to keep the job.
No, realistically, I would trade down probably to 8, between 8 to 12. And honestly,
who would you try to pick?
I would try to. If one of the tackles.
Where are you trading? Where are you trading down?
Say 9.
Okay, you're trading 9. So at 4, Will Campbell goes.
Okay.
At 5, Mason Graham goes. Yeah. At 6, Will Johnson goes.
Genty the Raiders.
Yeah, Genty the Raiders. Genty goes at 6. At 7, who's picking 7?
I don't know.
We'll say Will Johnson goes.
Okay.
He's too good to go outside the top 10. At 8,
say
Tet goes.
Okay, Tet goes at 8.
So who are you taking at?
I'm taking...
So now I would say the best player at each of those pain position points is gone.
Yeah, I think you take defense at that point. I think you take the middle linebacker, rangy linebacker from Alabama, Jahad Campbell. I think you take him. I think there's also a huge emphasis on these off-ball linebackers now, and I think he'd fit in that defense. I know it's not a super hot take, and fans aren't going to love that.
Yeah,
but I think you take that.
I think at that point at 9, if all those players are off the board, you just try to move back again.
Yeah, 100%.
Because then you try to move back in the late 20s, and then you just pick best receiver.
Probably pick up two first extra.
Try to get like Luther Burden or Mark or what's his Golden.
Marcus Golden.
Yeah, Marcus Golden. You try to get a receiver like that and just hope they kind of work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if one of the tackles ends up falling, who's a tackle from Ohio State?
Or
Calvin Banks could end up falling. Yeah,
if they fall, if you trade back to 15 and they're there, take them. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's going to be another thing too. It's like that where there could be a receiver that lasts until we're 38 again. There could be a tackle that lasts until you're 38. But at that point, you to make sure you get your guy, you should just trade him to the end of the first. Yeah, and then I'd like to see us add a running back. This running back class is fucking juiced. Deep. So I'd love to see us burn like a third-round pick on a running back, maybe trade back up into the second, grab a running back there.
Yeah.
I know. I hate doing
There's so many holes that I don't think it makes sense to grab a running back.
I think it does. I think it helps offensive line. Having a good running back.
Did you see our offensive line?
Yeah, it was atrocious. But I think having a good running back is only helped because.
I think you ride Mondre and Gibson out. You take a running back in the fifth or sixth round.
Yeah.
The first 3 rounds got to be
fifth round
edge, tackle, receiver in any order. You got to
edge, tackle, receiver. Yeah.
That's those.
But I mean, to that same point, I'm pissed that we even have to talk about drafting for Navy because we weren't able to get it done. It's still
realistically, you don't need to add an edge in the first 2 rounds. You could, because I think they did a good job filling those holes on day one of free agency. But you got to take receiver or tackle.
Yeah,
I think we might just take receiver at the end of the day.
The way it's shaping up, it seems like all they were trying to focus on in free agency is building a defense. And if we could see that play out, we could see that all they focus on in the draft is offense.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't hate that either. Build through the draft. That's exactly what the Eagles do. And I saw this morning because the Eagles are doing such a good job of acquiring talent, draft, free agency. They're going to have 5 picks in the top 100 next year. Not this draft. Next draft. 12 overall. That's just unbelievable maneuvering of the roster by Howie Roseman, who's also a genius, by the way. Congrats to those Eagles.
Yeah, congrats to the Eagles.
Well deserved.
They did.
Big fans.
They kicked ass all season.
Yeah.
And they saw a mass departure of teams. John thinks they're going to roll into the Super Bowl again. I think they're going to hit a brick wall.
Well, no, absolutely not. They're too deep to do that.
I think they're going to.
They lost a lot of talent on defense, but guess what? Howie's going to grab some edge rusher at 30. That's going to be an All-Pro next year. That's just what he does.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams overestimate how hard it is to, or underestimate how hard it is to repeat.
I completely agree. They made it look so easy this year.
Yeah, they did. But that's usually what really good teams do when they win Super Bowls. Is they make it look really easy.
Do it again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
How many teams have won back-to-back Super Bowls?
I think just the Patriots and Chiefs. Probably.
And they have probably the 2 best quarterbacks ever played the game.
Yeah, Hurts is a dog.
Is he? He is a dog. You're right.
He's a dog.
He's no goat.
He's not. He's a dog. And you got Saquon Barkley in an offensive line.
Saquon Barkley is the goat.
Saquon Barkley.
But they're all due for injuries at some point, so hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't root for injuries.
No, we don't root for injuries, so let's start playing the Patriots. But
that's true.
But yeah, we'll see. Exciting offseason. So far, how I know we graded B+ and an A for the defense. What are you grading the offense?
It's an F.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's incomplete.
Maybe D minus.
No, you can't. D
just
minus.
Just because you add Morgan Moses.
F. You miss out on every receiver. You miss out on.
They've added
Ronnie freaking Stanley.
We didn't have
we
a chance.
Hit the market, but Godwin, Cup, throw $20 million at Cup. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Elliott, use your brain, my guy.
Try to bring in Amari Cooper or Diggs.
Just bring in Diggs. I don't know if Diggs would fit in with Vrabel, though.
Yeah, no, I saw Diggs working out with Geno Smith, too.
Yeah.
So that'd be a pretty good fit.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Sick. Yeah, let's go, Raiders.
Yeah. But, all right, I'd say it's an exciting part of the offseason. We were saying offseason's probably the next best thing from the beginning of the season.
Especially day one of tampering.
Tampering, I know. But next will be up until the draft, so we'll probably do another episode before the draft.
Yep, exciting guests coming on as well.
Yeah.
Really exciting guests.
And we'll probably live stream the draft again.
Yes.
Either it's going to be live streamed on YouTube or Instagram.
Yep.
Whatever we can do.
Yep. Stay tuned for our special guest.
Yep. Stay tuned for the special guest. But that's a wrap.
Go Pats.
Go Pats.